Tuesday at this time each and every week. We visit with one of our favorite people of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here. He is Ron, the car guy from Westside Auto Pros, and talking about something this morning most interesting, especially this time of year. People are thinking about getting some new rides.
That's right. That's right. And this is a question that came in through AskRonTheCarGuy.com.
Do you mean the one that I have on my Surface right now?
There it is. Oh my God! Oh, who's that?
I don't know.
How did
I
that
take that
sneak
one
in
off.
there?
Very
wow!
scary.
Check that out. Look at that guy. That looks like a dating picture or something. Like that.
Look at that. CVU's Best Auto Shop. Wait, there's one real cool one. There, look at Karnak.
Yeah, Ask Ron the Karnak guy. But no, this is a site you can go to. It's AskRonTheCarGuy.com, and if you scroll, I don't know if you can scroll down to the bottom.
Ron, are you kidding me?
Of course we can, but you can see down at the bottom there. If you clicked on the first one where the billboard is, it would take you to all the past Great Day shows if you wanted to watch a rerun of something we had.
Nice.
And then the second one there, if you need anything, just ask Ron the Car Guy. If you click on that, it comes right to my inbox. You can send a question, and I'll answer them. And that's actually where this question came from. It was Michelle in Urbandale sent a question, and I found it interesting. And her question is, what are your thoughts on buying a car from a rental agency? Because we see that now where the different car rentals, Hertz, Enterprise, all Budget, all the different car rental agencies.
Ruan had some for a while.
Exactly.
The trucks and stuff.
And they have like a pre-owned lot where you can go buy vehicles, and I can't speak for them all, but I know even like I did a little research. I looked around on Enterprise's website, and they'll even, you can put in what you're looking for a car, and if they have it at another location or another state for a small fee, they'll even like bring it to Des Moines so you can check it out and drive it and stuff, get the right color or whatever you're looking for. So Michelle wanted to know what my thoughts on it was, and it used to be that used cars from rental companies were a great deal because the rental companies would lease them, and they'd keep them for 6 to 9 months, and then they would turn around and sell them.
That's all the longer they keep them?
That's how it used to be.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
and that's why if you look back historically, I don't know if you remember, I think it was back in the 90s somewhere, or early 2000s. The Ford Taurus was the #1 selling car.
I remember that.
And what was happening was the rental car companies were buying those cars or leasing those cars for 6 months, and they were turning a whole bunch of them, so it kind of inflated the numbers. So when you look at what the best-selling car is, you want to make sure that they remove that data from it to see. But that isn't the case anymore. They're keeping them a lot longer. I rent cars that have 25, 30, 35,000 miles on them. They're a year and a half old, so they're hanging on to them longer and getting more use out of them. But that still doesn't mean when they're sold, I would still kind of classify them as a newer car, even though it's got 30,000 miles on it and it's maybe a year and a half old. The other part of her question was, would I buy one? And so my thoughts on it, and this is my opinion, typically those cars are still under the manufacturer's warranty. They come with a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. So if there was something major that was having a problem on it, a transmission problem or something like that, it would be covered. So you wouldn't really have to worry about a major issue like that. Also, most of those companies have, they do the routine oil changes. They've got a program set up with someplace nearby. So for the most part, I think they're pretty well maintained. If anything was broken or failed on it, the rental car company is going to fix it.
So they can rent it again.
Yeah, they're not going to rent you a broken car. So it's going to be in overall pretty good shape and stuff. The only concern I have is how the car has been driven.
Right, and it's going to be a lot of local miles.
Let me ask you, RonTheCarGuy.com. Something tells me if you were renting a car, you're the type of guy that would get the extra insurance on it because you're just going to run the living heck out of that vehicle.
But I'm not going to crash it.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So I do run the living heck out of it, but I don't buy the extra insurance.
Oh, okay.
Because he has it covered on his other insurance. Always check your insurer to find out what your deal is. You're the one that taught us that.
Absolutely. Call your insurance agent and say, hey, I'm renting a car. Do I need to buy any of this extra stuff?
Because they try to, there's something, we'll talk about this at a later time. They try to throw in this extra, well, if your car is wrecked, we're going to charge you for the time we can't rent it type deal.
Exactly. And you want to find out if that's valid with your company. And I saw one the other day. I had a friend that rented a car, and he was showing me the contract and stuff. and they tried to sell them roadside assistance for like $4.99 a day. I mean, why do you want roadside assistance on a rental car? If the thing breaks down, call them. It's their car.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, bring me another one.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
So,
No, but to Jackie's point, that's very true. If you see the movie Days of Thunder, you saw what happened to those two rental cars.
Exactly.
When they were going to the restaurant. To meet up with the boss, yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
And and we personally know several people who have driven those cars just like that.
Not to mention Lou and Ron, the car guy. So
Well, I'm just saying it's kind of the unknown.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's not been in an accident, but it could have been ridden pretty hard.
Exactly. So, you know, the first thing to check would be, you know, see if they've got like a rental log on the car and see if Lou or Ron, the car guys, ever rented the car. If they have, I wouldn't buy it.
I wouldn't buy it at all.
But no, on a serious note, most of the regular cars are driven normally. You know, they're picked up at the airport, they're driven to a hotel somewhere, you know, somebody's in town on business, and then maybe they're driven to a couple of meetings or something like that, or to dinner, and then they're taken back to the airport.
Very minimal, usually.
Exactly. A lot of short trips, or somebody will maybe not have that good of a car, and they'll rent a sedan or a minivan and put the family and the luggage and stuff in it, and they'll go on a trip to the Black Hills or to Dallas, Texas, or something like that. And again, they've got the family and the kids in it, so you know they're not going to drive like a madman. Plus, it's a sedan, it's a minivan, so I'm not overly concerned about how that car was driven. I mean, you know, if it's a regular car. Now, something that I probably wouldn't buy from a rental agency would be a performance type vehicle. You know, a Chevrolet Camaro. You know, some companies, you know, rent Corvettes and
Mustangs. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you only rent those with one intention. You know, I remember years back when the Dodge Vipers were popular, and I was out in Las Vegas, and I rented a Dodge Viper for 24 hours. And I didn't drive it like a sedan. I mean, that wasn't the intention of renting that vehicle. And so even though they're a performance vehicle and they're made to be driven like that, if you owned a $50,000 performance car or a $100,000 performance car, you might occasionally drive it like that, but every time that car's driven, it feels like Lou's race truck.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't buy one of those, but you know, some things to consider. You know, take a look at the condition of the interior. Because I've rented some vehicles that had low mileage, and there's definitely an odor inside. You know, when you're buying the extra large Frappuccino, Cappuccino, and it spills all over the interior of your own car, you're concerned about getting it cleaned up. Rental cars, the interior doesn't need to be cleaned up, and you go back and it's dried in there, and they might vacuum it or something like that. So, you know, take a look at the interior and stuff, and you know, look for stains and odors, because sometimes that odor is hard to get rid of. You know, it gets into the fabric and stuff. So that would be something I'd take a look at. You know, also look at the back seat, because oftentimes, you know, even though you're renting a car, it says it'll hold 4 pieces of luggage. It won't hold the 4 pieces of luggage that you have. So people end up throwing a suitcase or something in the back seat. You got the wheels and it can scuff it up. And then the other thing that I notice on cars that I rent when I'm out of town is the top of the rear bumper. Because if it's a rental car, it's perfectly acceptable to drag your luggage across that painted bumper.
Well,
as you put it, I mean, luggage is heavy. You don't want to lift it up. And so there could, you know, and then that can be fixed, but you know, you want to negotiate that kind of stuff into the price as well. So, and then with any vehicle, whether it's a rental car or any vehicle that you're looking at buying that's pre-owned, I always suggest having a good comprehensive inspection done on it by an unbiased third party. You know, that they might say, well, our guys look at it, we inspect it. Well, have somebody that's disinterested in the entire process.
Now, you guys do that at Westside?
We do that. We do do that.
So how do they get a hold of you to have that done?
They can call us at Westside.
That's any car, not just a rental car, right?
Exactly. Or they can go to AskRonTheCarGuy.com and submit a request.
All right.
We'll take care of it.
Well done.
Thank you.
There you have it. All right. It's 5 minutes.